Hi, this is Velma Bland. I am going to go over states of consciousness, truth or fiction. I truly believe that as a person, a human being, that there's times when we are shifted over to unconsciousness because there's people who unfortunately are unaware of their wrongdoings and they continuously attempt to shift their enemies or people who are unaware of the powers that they own or who's unaware that they're not authentic. They're really just somebody out there threatened, feeling in jeopardy of their jobs. That these people, in fact, are unconscious of their wrongdoings, and because of the power that someone else has given them, because of the color or because of their dad's wealth, wealthy background or businesses, friends, territory, brother's a cop, uncle's a judge, things like that. And we all know the book that I did share the KKK nationalism, the start of the KKK, whereby all of the Klan members met on 4th of July, started in 1920s, and their mission basically was to nationalize and try to encourage other white Americans to nationalize them states to gain control over politics, political seats, presidential elections, powerful positions in the judicial system, powerful positions in community policing, and also banking and financing. So what we have here is the states of consciousness is we are fully aware of the difference between right and wrong, good and bad. That's the state of consciousness. The state of unconsciousness is whereby, and on some occasions, we are just unintelligent and we have not been informed to deal with and cope with particular things that might be outside of our arena. But we feel something emotionally going on that it doesn't add up. You know, you get this instinctive feeling inside and you feel uncomfortable or something and you stare at it and you know something is cooking up or people begin to behave suspiciously. And your unconsciousness is back here. It doesn't make wise decisions. It's just, you know, you need to expand your knowledge on a particular topic or an experience. You must experience certain things in life a number of times in order to, to pick up on it. So what we have here, what I'm going to commentate tonight is states of consciousness. I have a master's science in psychology. Just a minute, okay. You for you, a master of science in psychology, University of Phoenix. So I can commentate this topic. Let me see, can I get it clear for you? Or you should be able to see it. Okay. Velma M. Bland, Master of Science of Psychology. Okay. Now, something that I discovered about having a Master of Science in Psychology is I studied the program because all my life I've had to defend myself from people who seems to have overwhelming power or they're just mean and arrogant and they never had to suffer. You know, they just had this conceitedness about them, and they didn't care about anyone else's feelings. And this, you could experience feeling like you're controlled by a wicked person that doesn't have power, but they have scams going on. So when we're talking about the states of consciousness, is we need to understand that according to, and let me just make sure this section here is the same author because some chapters you change authors throughout each chapter. Well, I was looking for my new psychology book. It's probably stacked up over in my other books. Spencer A. Rathers, Third Addiction Psychology. Now, this book, let me see what year. Third edition. Library of Congress. Editor-in-Chief Susan Katz. Publisher Robert Woodbury. Acquisitions Editor Susan Mayers. Senior Project Editor Francois Bartlett. Production Manager Pat Sarkuni. Art Director Louis Squardino. Design Concept Harushi Matsue. Text Design Caliber Design Planning Inc. Cover Photograph Al France Kovic. Line Art Caliber Design Planning Incorporated. Anatomical Art D.L. Kramer. Photo Research Cheryl Mans. And it's the Library of Congress, Cataloging and Publication Data. Author Spencer A. Rathers, Psychology. Bibliography page R1 includes index. So the ISBN is 0-03-001608-8. And I wanted to get and it was published in 1987, and several editors, as I mentioned, edited quite a number of times. But it originally was published by Reinhardt Holt, Reinhardt Holt and Winston Incorporated, 1956, 1981, 1984, and 1987. So we have Spencer, third edition, 1987. So that means that this book I studied, I studied it in my at the business college. It's now called City University. It was Career Calm. But the other psychology book that I have, this is 87. It might have been. No, I'm sorry, Kaiser University, because I had to have psychology for the medical assistant program. That's the first book. I have an updated book. I'll share it another time because it's amongst a lot of books I have stacked up over in the basket there. Now, the states of consciousness. Some of us endure so much arrogancy on a day to day basis, and I don't want to say black and white, but I know I have. I know how to deal with it, but because people are getting away with it so much, until I come back at them in a damning way, worse than how they came at me. It's just me because it's how I feel good. Because they feel good stabbing at me and trying to destroy my career and trying to take away my love from me and my happiness. So when they stab at me to try to destroy me and put me on my face so I can lose my condo, lose my transportation, lose my mind, then I see that they are attacking me with force, and I have the right to protect myself with force, whether it's physical or whether it's by the mind, because I can mess up your mind just as you try to mess up my mind. Because I've mastered psychology, and how I come back at people is because I am so tired of being nice and everybody else is mean around me. Because someone has to give, and I'm tired of being the one to bow down, and I'm still tortured tomorrow. But what I want to speak about is states of consciousness, and it's outlined. We have different topics on it. See if I can. I'll come back to the other chapters. I'm looking for the contents. Here it is. Chapter 1, What is Psychology? Chapter 2, Biology and Behavior. Chapter 3, Sensation and Perception. Chapter 4, States of Consciousness. So we're in page 161. I'll come back to what is psychology. Okay, because psychology, basically all it is that it's a study of behaviors, people and animals and plants and things like that. And I'll come back to it. But it's the study of people and animals, behavior, and the concepts of psychology are to make sure that we are understanding the conditions of mental behavior and we are not torturing mental behavior and making it worsen from the way how we are treating our patients, but we are to be empathetic and giving them tender loving and care, like really being very gentle with mental patients, because I've been in some places where people are mentally ill or being tortured and they're mistreated, and that is not right, because we all have a problem mentally with ourselves, and that is we gossip a lot, we taunt people, we're arrogant, the behavior of or unfair. Um, it's things that we're doing that are outside of the norm. That could be a mental illness. Just little small things, because what's outside of the norm is what is it that everyone else is doing, which is normal. And one might say, oh, we get up in the morning, we brush our teeth, and then we eat breakfast and then we take a shower. But others may say, well, we take a shower first and then we brush our teeth. Other ones may say, then we eat breakfast, then we get dressed. Others may say, we brush our teeth, we eat breakfast and then we take a shower and get dressed. So what is normal would fit the person who is comfortable being themselves and not having to be retracting themselves and apologizing for someone else's arrogancy and callousness towards them, because not everyone can deal with a mean, nasty, wicked person. And I find that I don't know what's going on with people, but I have always have to embrace myself and let people just pass on through me and do not say anything back to them, because when I get tired of it, whosoever triggered it off that day are going to suffer. So I've held myself back for so many years, and to stay away from the physical, but I end up being verbal and really abusive with my mouth. So it's one of the reasons why, and I can really, I'm a sailor when I get to cursing. So what I need to do is to stay a professional, but in order to stay a professional, we must surround ourselves around professionals. But what is professional? You know, um, is it how we approach someone? Is it because we are dressed professional? Is it because of our title or our career, or that we have a professional job? Everyone wants to be professional. And when we're professional, we want to be positive. And when we're positive, we want to be liked. And we want to be accepted because we are following the ethics codes, the ethical codes of whatever goals and mission and purpose you have in that business. There's an ethical, practical code that we must follow to make sure that we follow protocol to avoid conflict and to avoid litigation and things like that. Because today, all people wants to do is sue you, and they will find all sorts of ways to get up under your skin just so that they can sue you. And it's really it's a serious problem that some people are having out there with in society, being a normal person around other normal persons. And what they are doing is they're causing a person that is perfectly normal, perfectly happy, whether single or not, whether or not have any kids, just have a dog, and we might not have any money, but we're getting our grad plus loans to finish college and we're doing well. But then all of a sudden, a demon arises and decides to come in my way and take away everything from me because I'm black, because I'm smart, because I don't have any kids, because I'm not married, because I own a condo, because I have a car, because I have good credit, because I look different. And when we have people targeting someone like me that does not disrespect anyone in a reproachment, okay, something seriously wrong with these people. So I decided tonight just, to talk about the states of consciousness. Is it a truth or is it a fiction? Are you conscious or are you not conscious? Are you unconscious? There is no such thing as consciousness, according to Rathner. Sleep becomes gradually deeper as we approach the middle of the night and then gradually lightens until we awaken in the morning. These are bullet points. People who sleep 9 hours or more a night tend to be lazy and happy go lucky. We tend to act out our forbidden fantasies in our dreams. Many people have insomnia because they try too hard to get to sleep at night. Children tend to outgrow bedwetting. Okay, so what that means is if a child bedwets until they reach the age of 13, it's abnormal and the parents are concerned. Maybe my daughter or my son is having kidney problems. And I remember people getting a beating growing up around me, um, and the family cousins that I grew around. If you wet the bed, because mattresses, once you wet them, you have to get rid of it and you have to buy another one. I mean, just for wetting the bed as maybe 5 years old, because it's time by now you shouldn't wet the bed. You should be able to get up in the night and not hold your urine and go use the bathroom. And it's normal to urinate every 2 hours and to have at least five seconds of flow, unless you held it for a long time, 10 minutes, and you're on the highway and you got to pee, you got to pee, you got to pee, and you might end up at a rest stop because you're going to mess up your clothing. But children tend to outgrow bedwetting. That's another bullet point. It is dangerous to awaken a sleepwalker. Some people drink because alcohol provides them with an excuse for failure. Okay, some people drink because they just want to feel mellow and they feel a little depressed and they want to relax and maybe they need to get to sleep. There's a lot of reasons people drink. Alcoholic, that's that too. Heroin was once used as a cure for addiction to morphine. Heroin was once used as a cure for an addiction to morphine. You're addicted, addiction. Coca-Cola once added life through a powerful but now illegal stimulant. And you can take a can of Coca-Cola and pour it on your battery and it can clean your battery off. And it's one of the reasons why many children who drink Coca-Cola, their teeth, and they have gum disease and their teeth falls out early when they're children. Cigarette smokers tend to smoke more when they are under stress. I agree with that. Smoking marijuana is harmless, is what they're saying here. People have managed to bring high blood pressure under control through meditation. And that's a very good key point. Running, walking, listen to nice, calm classical music or nice jazz music, um, soft music of nature, birds, ocean, water waves, things like that. Helps like therapy. Users of LSD can have flashbacks at any time. So if you're a user of LSD, you can have a flashback and just come, it just come back on you, any place, anywhere, and you might freak out. And then you're bake your rack or you're handcuffed and put in jail for harming somebody, in case you get combative. People have managed to bring high blood pressure under control through meditation. You can learn to increase or decrease your heart rate just by thinking about it. So we go inhale and exhale, aspirate, and then to make your heart Heart rate should be 125 beats per minute, at least 120. And if you're having a heart attack and you're home alone, you just take your fists and you just beat it. Just beat your heart and blow out at the same time. You're gonna beat your heart. You're gonna you hit it right here because your heart is always on the left side. So if you're home alone and you feel a sharp pain and you feel weak like you're gonna faint and your heart stops and you can and after you just give it suppress it, but you want to push it right up under the breastbone and blow out. Don't inhale. Go. You hit it, and then after you done that, and you if you can inhale and exhale. If you still can't breathe, then you need to dial 911. But I'm just saying that you could make your heart come back on your own if you are conscious enough. If you have the state of consciousness to think about it, and you having a heart attack, just whip it. Just take this here hand and go. Don't hurt yourself. But that's good to know because a lot of people are found unconscious and they had heart attacks when they could have helped themselves by just thinking. And another thing, it says here the ethical psychologists do not practice hypnosis. And I just got done talking about an ethical psychologist does not share your information, which is confidential, with his wife, or if it's a woman with her husband, with her children. And oh my goodness, I had a patient today. I don't think I can help that patient. That patient is seriously mentally ill. No, you do not go home and do that because we have an ethical APA ethical because it's the American Psychology Association are a part of writing literature, the behavior, the ethic codes of psychologists. A psychologist cannot even come into a courtroom and share your files with the court unless that psychologist um, documentation cause that's that patient of that psychologist murdered a family member or murdered themselves and they need to review those files. But if that person has a psychology record, is not supposed to be shared with anyone whatsoever. It's an ethical code. And how I know it because I've been tested on it and I know my rights and I know if any person has a medical history of having mental illnesses and things like that, the only way that someone else will find out is if you personally tell them. If you do not mention that I'm getting therapy, they wouldn't know. And if they find out, your employer or the person or persons involved with behavior health because all of us who work a full-time job that carries a group insurance through a policy of their employer or we have insurance individual with a family policy, there you always find their behavior health is through psych med or something. You are eligible if you feel depressed to get your mental health, okay, treatment so that you would get better. And what you need to do is make an appointment with your doctor and discuss the situation you're having. And while you're with that doctor, because many of us do not choose psychologists, we just choose a medical doctor. I would say take heed to going to your supervisor or anyone in HR about your mental health because they're going to request you to take a medical leave. And you probably cannot afford to take a medical leave. Unless you have um, initiated a lot of problems on the job without anyone bothering you, then they're going to draw concerns. But if you having arguments with everyone and they're having arguments with you and you didn't start it, it just started fighting with you, then you need a witness that you're being mistreated on the work in the workplace. And believe me, I know about mistreatment. So when it comes down to your mental health, I would say take heed to sharing it with your employer that you're depressed and you're feeling low down and depressed and you're feeling like hopeless and you might commit suicide and you need to go see it. It's okay to see someone because you have a nervous breakdown. I had a nervous breakdown when my husband died, and when I went to the hospital and spoke to the doctor about it at the hospital, I had to be Baker Act. I had to be Baker Act and I had to do a follow up. And sometimes the follow ups take a long time. And if they do not check to make sure you followed up, and when Social Security has sent all the records, sent because I had a disability case after my husband died and I was depressed, had a nervous breakdown, he's out of cancer. Now I had a slip and fall. I couldn't look for work because I was already unemployed a whole year before my husband died. Lost my job as a school counselor. A lot of bull crap happened over there. Top enrollment counselor, but they let me go over some bull crap with a student that did not even qualify because she had a defaulted student loan. But I suffered because I said something um, to her, according to her, was something that's harassing her, keep calling her to come to school. When she is a person that sent in her forms online that she wants to study a program. And if I'm given her name to call every day, I have to call you morning and then I call you in the evening 2 times a day. So it was a bunch of crap. But anyway, um, I had was very close to earning my master's of science in psychology with honors before losing that job, and it paid me very well. And it was a very stressful job having to force people to come to school. So I all of the students that came to me were interested in psychology programs, so they would send me all of these students. But anyways, what we have here in life is we have different people who do not know themselves. We have different people who are fully aware of who they are and where they're going in life. But there's other people who do not know themselves, have low self-esteem. It's always looking at you and worrying about what you, always looking to worry about you, what you doing, what's she going, always in your business. These are the mentally ill people, but they do not know it. And if you say anything to them, if you go, well, what are you looking at me like that for? I'm not food. So now you're the person that's seemingly the one that's rude. And I've done that before because I got tired of being stared down as if I'm crazy. And so it's just as crazy people are the people who are doing things without having a psychologist or a psychiatrist to treat them. They're just out there and they're doing a lot of things and they're laughing and they do not even know that they're mentally ill. And these are the people who are undiagnosed and they are dangerous. They are attacking old people, hitting them in the head with things and robbing them, raping them. That's a mental illness because we are supposed to understand that in society you do not attack anyone. Everyone has rights. Why are you attacking people? What did that person do to you? Oh, I don't like them. And I saw a caption, a documentary of a mentally ill person that was handicapped, was walking home, and I believe it was in London, and it was a videotape, and it had it on YouTube, where someone took a baseball bat and hit him in the back of the head, and I believe it killed him. He was already mentally ill and already had problems with his brains. So I'm serious. We got some serious issues, some of us. And believe me, I had to study psychology because I people were so crazy doing things so much until I thought I was crazy. And when I studied the program, I realized is that we have people who are in denial, that they do not understand the conditions, the classical conditions of your mental health. Is that it depended on how you were raised. You probably were raised in a dysfunctional home setting. You probably saw your parents always arguing and fussing all the time, and it's the reason why you are the same way. You argue and fuss about anything. You always bickering and you always complaining and belly aching about everybody else but yourself. and you're looking and you're staring and you're trying to examine people as if you are a licensed psychiatrist and you are nothing but a complainer. So, what I find to be very true is that everyone should at least get some form of mental health treatment, just so that we can understand. And if you are depressed or you're struggling in life, or if you always have problems in your environments and people always rejecting you and you don't understand what's going on, you might want to go and talk to somebody and just try to, take up communication classes first. Because just as soon as you go and talk to a therapist or someone, some of these therapists I heard are misinterpreting and misdiagnosing patients, and they may send you further into mental treatment, and then you might end up in a facility. It's very dangerous, people, to namely misinterpret someone needs to be Baker Act. To Baker Act someone, that means that this person has a history of picking up rocks and busting somebody across the head, or putting a gun to their head, or cutting their wrist, or strangling someone and then letting them go before that person dies and laughing about it. That person needs to be Baker Act because they cause harm upon themselves and before an authority figure, and or they put themselves in harm. And what that means is when you're putting yourself in harm, is that you are skydiving and you're doing a lot of things that is against, like jumping off buildings without a parachute, and you survived. That's a Baker Act because you put your life at risk. Anytime you put your life at risk, that's a Baker Act. It doesn't mean if somebody pull a gun on you and you run over to fight with them, that's a Baker Act. No, a Baker Act is when a person attempt to kill themselves or they put themselves in danger by some type of activity that they're involved in, or they cut their wrists. That's putting your life in danger. That's a Baker Act. A Baker Act isn't if you taunt somebody, you behind closed doors, you got some covert racism going on, and you tell everybody, oh, we're gonna pick on Velma and run her out of her condo, and we're gonna deem her mentally ill and get her kicked out so we can steal her property, sell it for $10, and we make good on the equity. That's what people are doing now where I live. They are trying to deem me mentally ill, and I am a doctor fellow. Why? Because I am talking about a lot of things that these people do not understand. I've studied so many books, went through so many hours of lectures. I never in my life has ever had to be Baker Act or any to be taken to a crazy house. I never attacked anyone in my entire life. I never tried to kill myself. I just went in with the thought I was depressed and I was lonely and hopeless. My husband died of cancer, nobody cared about me, and I was crying. And I that's a voluntary Baker Act. And I was out of there in 4 hours. Did a brain scan, everything. Nothing's wrong with Velma. She went to a follow up a year and a half, and I saw a licensed psychiatrist that said, you're just having some adjustment disorders. It's not a mental behavior, it's a behavior. It's not a mental illness or manic depressant or paranoid schizophrenia, like the hospitals try to put me into that category. It's just that you have an adjustment disorder because when people pull you over to the arena that you're not used to and hostile towards you and things like that, you got to learn how to stay away from these type of people. Hostility, but hostility keep coming to me. So now, how am I going to keep you away from me? Don't talk to me. Don't come around me if you're crazy and hostile. And what I mean by if you're not diagnosed, if you haven't been diagnosed ever and you think you're perfect and you're crazy, do not come around me because you're just going to get me upset. You're going to raise my blood pressure because my blood pressure and my consciousness is always focused on what the other guy is doing. They can always looking at their hands and their eyes and their feet because we got so many people out here who are mentally ill and they do not know about it, but they're calling the normal people mentally ill. And they're getting away with it. They're getting away with it. Baker Act is not because someone yelling and screaming back at you that started the fight. You're not an authority figure over me. Authority figure over me would be my husband that witnessed me trying to kill myself, or my mother, or someone as an authority figure that witnessed me trying to kill myself, or my father. That's my authority figure. And the third party authority figure is a police officer if they witness you trying to kill yourself outside. It has to be outside, not looking through spy cams in your house and watching you in secret, and they want to wait and see if she gonna do something so we can bake a rack her. Oh, please do something so we can bake a rack you, because we need that condo. No, that's not how you do it. And then you get a knock at the door, it's the police. You don't know. How do you know I pulled my electrical installment mount out of my kitchen? What, do you got cameras in my house? How do you know? I didn't tell anybody. How do you know that I took wires and cut them to protect my place from a fire when a neighbor had a water leak? How do you know what I'm doing inside of my house? You got to have cameras in my house, police. You got to. So what we have here is a bunch of crazy people that doesn't know they're crazy. And they're provocative, and they're taunting you, and they're corrupt, and they're getting away with it every day. So what I decided to do, because I got to get back to the Bible, because I'm tired of cursing people out who doesn't know that they have a mental illness and that they need to leave Velma Bland alone. We need to let you know that it's time for you to get therapy, because I am not crazy. I am just a person that does not allow anyone to violate my rights, and my constitutional rights, or to violate my rights to Amendment 14, which is the rights to own property, the rights to police protection when somebody's bothering me. And when you call the police, they're following behind the person that's trying to kill you, rather than they coming to your aid. So why do I need to keep donating to the police department? I stopped donating because they act like I'm stupid. And I just finished a doctorate degree program. I'm like, what's going on with the world? When did you ever found any documentation that I was crazy? Who is it? It's not me. My name is Velma Bland. I never had a crazy record or anything. But what we got going on is we have bullies out there who are in authority, and they are needy, and they want your money, they want your house, they want your life, they want your college degrees, and they want your boyfriends or your husbands, they want to take your children, and they want to eat you too, some of them. Some of them are carnivores. And you better believe it. Because we are not in days of time when people are eating people and they don't even care and they're laughing about it. Because they claim that eating people is supposed to make them live longer. Now, what I'm going to do is move on. I just gave you some information, probably too much, but I want you to know that why I'm reading this tonight. It's 10:18 p.m. and I'm going to try to get through it as quick as I can. The fourth chapter. It is well known. It is a well-known fact of life that the few individuals who have gained insight into the mysteries of the universe wear flowing robes, have long beards streaked with white, and set up sharp on some distant mountaintop. A sag in their shoulder telegraphs their weariness with knowledge and the burdens of the world. Okay, that sounds like who? They're like they're picking at God. How dare you? Now let me read it again. It is a well known fact of life that the few individuals who have gained insight into the mysteries of the universe wear flowing robes, have long beards streaked with white, and set up sharp on some distant mountaintop. A sag on their shoulder telegraphs their weariness with knowledge and the burdens of the world. Or is that Moses or Abraham? These sages are hard to meet. You've got to wait for the end of the monsoon season or for a thaw to make the journey. Then you must enlist one of the last guides who recalls the route. Such guides would typically prefer to watch their donkeys graze in the backyard than make any darn fool trip. But they can be persuaded. If they couldn't, I'd have to find another tale. So what we're saying here is some people you have to lead them to the water and force them to drink, because they cannot think on their own, and they cannot do anything on their own unless someone motivates them. And we do have people like that. It's because they do not have the IQs are low, or they do not have any um, self confidence or any drive. They don't know what they like, and they just need to sit down and write down, what makes me happy. Where would I like to go that I've been before that I had fun. So, sometimes we need to probe people that we are very close to in the family or around us that come to us and talk to us, and you see something one day, and you don't always have to ask them what's wrong. You just say to them that I noticed today that you look like today, are you having or you look flushed, or you look pale today, is everything okay? You don't have to be nosy, but just let them know that you noticed something. And if they're an open-hearted person, and it's not stupid, a person just because they're open to their internet, it doesn't mean that these are stupid people. It just means that to have a good listening ear sometimes it helps people. And it doesn't mean that they're stupid to tell you anything. And you shouldn't listen to someone's business and then go in and call them stupid and to tell the whole world in a different whole topic that you never heard and to damage someone's reputation. And that's what we have going on. And it is wrong. So it is not surprising that psychologist Robert Ornstein, 1972, recounting of the experiences of a group of American travelers who were seeking just such a wise old man, describes him as scrambling and stumbling through the Himalayan mountains. So it sounds like researchers. As you would expect, the trip was long and arduous. Many would have turned back. These hardy travelers were searching for the scoop on heightened consciousness, for the key to inner peace and harmony. Now, why would we need to take a long trip through the Himalayan mountains to search for heightened consciousness, for the key to inner peace and harmony? Because, like the 23rd Psalm says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. Well, your faith in God and that prayer reminds you that you are going in a peaceful place. And so you are allowed to have peace. But you might have to go somewhere far, far away to get peace because some people just does not believe in having the same, they're not interyoked to someone else's peace. They think that the only time they should have peace is when they're sleeping. And when someone else is making noise, as they did when someone else was sleeping, now we're yelling, shut up and be quiet, I'm trying to sleep, because they believe they're the only one deserve to have happiness, sleep, peace, and it's their way or the highway. And so when we're living close bound to someone, probably one of the reasons why many people back in many centuries back, or during the times of, um, let's say those people who grew up like in the South in the late 1870s or something like that. They lived far away from each other. The houses were miles away, maybe 20 miles away from each other. And there was no, if you needed help, there was no one there to call. You had to always have a shotgun or a dog outside to let you know someone was coming up. So, um, living like that, it was a dangerous way to live. But then when you're living in a peaceful environment and nothing ever happens, and then just one day someone shows up and kill the whole family, now we understand that we have trespassers. We have people who unexpectedly showed up, and they didn't have any regard for life or anyone. They just thought that just take what we need and kill somebody to get it. And that's self-preservation. That's what's going on today. Finally, the travelers found themselves at the feet of the venerable Guru. They told him of the perils and pitfalls of the journey, of the singular importance they attached to this audience. They implored the Guru to share his wisdom to help them open their inner pathways. A Guru is a person that is a yes, yes person, and they don't complain about anything. The Guru said, sit facing the wall and count your breaths. Right. Now, this is someone that's probably a master that teaches peace, someone how to meditate. The Guru said, sit facing the wall and count your breaths. This was it. the secret that had been preserved through the centuries. This was it. The secret that had been preserved through the centuries. It's just to sit facing the wall and count your breaths. That's it. And that's what we call meditation, on focusing on a clear, pure view of a scenery, of a water flow, and birds flying across there. And you see fish jumping up, and you hear the sound of the water, and the air is fresh and it's moist, and you might see a squirrel over here, you might see a deer over there. But if you see a Sasquatch walk up, now your peace has been disturbed. Now we need to run and get away. And that's what we call people are monsters sometimes. As they come and invade your privacy, they invade your peace and quiet, and they want to see you're unhappy, and now they want to run you away because now what you found out is that person was here before you. Now you're in his territory. But I purchased this land, I purchased this piece of land and this property. Why did you sell it to me if you know that we have haters around here that want to steal somebody's property and say that I want you out of here because they're racist or because they're crazy people? But the Sasquatch and the alligator and the snakes come out. I was here before you. So what are you going to do? You got to run because they're beasts. But if these beasts does not scare you, you can shoot them and protect yourself and kill them before they kill you. And it's a sad story when somebody got to kill a neighbor that doesn't believe that you have the right of sin. You purchase your property. Now you got to kill a neighbor to get them off your back that's bothering you every day, 24 hours a day. Is that how far we need to go to get you quiet, to let you leave me alone? I got to kill you? Is that what you want me to do? Now, what that means is now I got to be in the right frame of mind. Velma head ain't right. Oh, yes, it is. Because you would have been dead a long time ago if my head wasn't right. And I'm sitting here on open video. My head is right, buddy. Because I would have killed you a long time ago. Long time ago. 8 years ago, if my head wasn't right. Because what we got to do is we got to take control of ourselves. We got to stay in control, and we can't pick up a gun and kill a fool that and they have a job, they're married, they have a lot of friends, and they're happy, and they drive nice cars, but every day they Velma, Velma, Velma plan, Velma plan. And that's what I call coming back at you to let you know how you look. Now, who's crazy now? Because that's how I see you. Now, it's time for you. You need to go in that mirror. You need to see how you look. Because Velma might not shoot you and blow your brains out for bothering her for a whole year and try to steal everything she got and take everything. But somebody is going to get you. And I'm serious about that. Somebody is going to get you sooner or later. And you better govern yourself. When you're messing with people and trying to make them unhappy because you're a hateful beast and you're racist and you come in high numbers and God speak about you. And they come at you in high numbers in tens of thousands. They're nothing but Satan. And he got a bunch of followers. But I'm going to take them down in hell's fire on these days. Because when you're perpetuating and you are persecuting somebody for no reason, it's in the Bible, in Revelations, that you will not have any problem, Velma, reaching heaven. Because they are persecuting you, because they are jealous of you, because you have quality, you look beautiful, you are intelligent, you're trying to become a doctor, you probably passed the qualifying exams and no one told you yet, and everybody acting foolish. You can interpret data. You can follow directions of your syllabi instructions. You pass most of your grades with all A's. And they are so angry that everybody turned against you and they want you dead, Velma. They want you dead. So what are you going to do? We want you to go to jail. That's why we're bothering you every day. We want you to kill us or shoot and kill somebody so we can see you in prison with a first-degree crime and get electrocuted, because that's what we were told to do. That's what we want you to do, Velma. But Velma is saying, God is my avenger. And I'm not going to say God bless you because you are the devil. I plead the blood of Jesus because God has given me the authority over Satan to step all over his neck and beat the crap out of him when he come up within hand distance of me, weapon or not. And you better fight the good fight, Velma. You better rip him up because he's going to kill you or she's going to kill you. And it's in the Bible that I have all authority to kill you if you come in my house or in my presence with a crazy behavior threatening my life. Police are not when I have not done anything wrong. And that's why we need you police to study communication, psychology, negotiation, and to study yourself. Because somebody is just giving you an easy ride to get that badge. Because you do not come in nobody's house and try to make them crazy of a call of a liar, and they do not have a criminal record, just bothering them because you can do it, because you have a badge. I used to donate every year to the fire department and the police department. And I felt like a fool donating. Like a fool donating to them. Because how they treat me is wrong. And we're going to find out what's going on. Because if you want me to kill somebody so I can have peace and stay and live out the rest of my life without a crime, a criminal record, you get real close. You getting very close to it. Because you know what? I'm not going to kill anybody. But you get close. You get real close. Because when someone takes a squirrel and slaughter that squirrel and cut that squirrel guts out and heart and neck and everything and hang it in front of the tree in front of my door, we got somebody outside of my home got a mental illness, Florida state, need to go in the mental hospital, and you better find them, because if they come through my door, and I'm going to show you it right here. If you come to my door, I'm not going to jail. Because we got a crazy person that's killing squirrels and slicing them up with the guts and the heart and everything and hanging them up in a tree in front of my yard, and also defecating out here in front of where I live. This is private property. Every unit is privately owned. And those that are not, that are rented are still privately owned by the homeowner that's renting out to a tenant. That should have rules given to them to let them know that these are privately owned. If you don't educate your tenants, and your tenants is doing a lot of things around here, you need to get them out of here. Because I don't like to see anybody kicked out, but if your tenants are bothering me because they're jealous because I'm beautiful and because they're ugly or whatever the problem, or they want my boyfriend and they can't get him, and they have to go through extreme measures to make noise, to blast, to run me out of here, you got a lot of work. A lot of work. You got so much work And when I open up my Facebook page and when I type what's going on, don't think that I'm crazy. I'm not the dope. I don't care who you are. We're going to tell on you because you bother me too much. I have a master's science in psychology. I'm supposed to teach this course to help people. And I want you to recognize that I am not going to tolerate craziness when these people are acting crazy and taunting and manipulating and antagonists. They got this behavior of I'm better than you and you need your head to be checked and because you did something to me and I curse you out because you just did something to me too extreme. And I ask you what the hell's wrong with you? What you do that for? And you ignore me? And I ask you again, wait a minute now. You just run, lady. Excuse me, ma'am. You just pushed that basket on the back of my heel and it's bleeding. Is something wrong with you? Something must be seriously wrong with you. And then she tell me to go to hell, you stupid bitch. And I'm like, go to hell, you stupid bitch. You just pushed the basket on the back of my foot. And you didn't even say, I'm sorry. So these are the things that you're dealing with in the supermarket sometimes. And it was loud up in there because when I get to trying to find out what's wrong with this lady, you just come behind me. I'm trying to pay for my groceries. So now when I push my basket through, I go in front of the basket. And I have the basket pushed way out there facing them. And they're mad because they got to wait to put your food up there. Now I do it this way because no one else is going to ever push a basket on my heel and make it bleed and then walk out the door and act like they don't care. Because that person wanted me to take my fist and beat her on the back of her head. But see, that means we need to have what? We need to be in a mind frame. Our mental state has to be conscious of what we're doing and what we're saying. And it's hard work. Like, what's wrong with everybody? Why do I need, I'm not your mother. Why do I need to keep telling you you're stupid and you're doing things that's aggravating? What happened to you? Who raised you? Why are you so one sided? Why you got to always cause problems for other people? And then you don't care. And then everybody's looking at me because I'm loud now. Now I need to be Baker at. You see my point? So we got it all wrong. We need to go to school and look up Baker Act because too many people talking about Baker Act. And to Baker Act people, that means that someone has a history of antagonizing and beating up people and trying to kill people or try to kill themselves, and they got their own medication and they're crazy all their life. You don't just Baker Act people because they're yelling and screaming back at you who think that you are the master and I'm the slave. No, we don't do that. Slavery days is over a long time, and I don't recall ever being one. Okay, we must have order in our environments, and everybody has to follow suit and be follow routines and a normal day. We might, from a kid, we have to walk behind each other in as formation in line, and then once we reach up to a state of consciousness and we're able to be independent, probably in the eighth grade or something like that, we don't follow suit in lines anymore. Now, may I use the restroom? And then the teacher look at you. Yes, you can use the restroom, but make sure you come right back. Sometimes they tell you no, you have to hold it. But I'm just saying that we must be fully aware of what we are doing. Because if I'm sitting in my house by myself, I have a visitor every now and then, my dog, and I'm not saying anything to anybody. I'm in there doing my studies. I'm looking at TV and I bust out laughing because something funny happened. Now all of a sudden we need to put a spy cam in Velma's house to see what's wrong with her while she's laughing so loud. When did we ever come to the state of that in the United States? What's wrong with these people? They so nosy you got to put a spy cam in somebody's house to see why they're laughing. Because I'm looking at something funny on TV. But why do I need to explain anything to you? Do you pay my mortgage? Do you pay my car note? Do you buy my groceries? Do you buy my clothes? Do you do anything for me other than stare and look ugly and nasty and wretched and greedy and hateful? What do you do for me that you think that you can control me? And that's why I believe Many of us need to study psychology because you need to understand that it's not all about you. You need to worry about your business and again stay out of everybody else's business. Because right now you are reaching extreme level of getting me to respond in a way that's going to get me put in jail because you're hateful and you don't want to see me get that doctorate degree. And that's a crying shame that you would put somebody through that and you're not even anyone that has the authority to test me in anything, not even to test me to fart from my anus. You don't have authority to tell me to fart when to fart when. You don't have the authority to tell me I can't pick out my nose when it's itching me. You don't have the authority to tell me I can't wash my vagina when it's dirty. You don't have the authority to tell me I can't change my panties when my panties accidentally I pee on myself. You don't have the authority to tell me how to wear my hair if I want to wear it like an afro because I'm black. You don't have authority to tell me anything because you're lateral or because you think that you're better than me. You don't have the authority to tell me I can't drive a Mercedes Benz and you need to damage up my motor when I take it in for service because you want to see me in a cheaper car. So that's someone that has a mental illness and they are in control.dll. That's what they're doing. Control.dll. And I had to kick you out of my Win 32 system. A lot of your mess. Okay, so as the guru, yes, in a sense, this was. Counting your breaths is one method of meditation, one way of narrowing your consciousness so that the stresses of the outside world can fade away. So now we need to meditate so crazy people out there that doesn't know how to govern themselves can win because they got to keep bothering everybody. Now we got to meditate because we got people out there that doesn't know how to control their own self, doesn't know how to maintain to be civil and to govern their own actions because they're out of control. They don't know how to be nice to people. So now we got to meditate and ignore and block them out. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. It's okay to meditate for peace, but now I got to meditate and suppress, myself to ignore you because you don't know how to be you. Your parents didn't teach you how to be respectful. They didn't teach you manners. They couldn't have. They taught you how to be a racist, how to be a Klan, or they taught you how to be a communist, how to create havoc in order for somebody that's black like you, we're the same race, but you're light skinned and I'm black. Now you want to have an attitude when I come sit down by you and brush off your little clothes and do all this kind of stuff. Because we got a problem with ourselves. The person just arrived, they just want to sit down. It's an empty seat. Why you got to carry on like that? So we have it. We have it. We have crazy people that doesn't know they're crazy, that doesn't need to come outside until they go and see somebody. You need to talk to somebody because you are seriously mentally ill to keep messing around with me the way you're doing. And I'm not bothering with anybody. I am very private. I used to have, I am 57. I don't need friends. Okay? I wish I could say that I want to get married again. I do not. I experienced that. I would love to adopt a child, once I get my life to where I want it to be. That's something, maybe a couple of children. I would qualify to adopt a couple of children to save them from their transgressions and from being abandoned and that they could find love. Because I know how to love. I know how to love. I don't like hating. If you push me, now you taking me over to the hate line. I don't like being over there because that's not me. I'm not a hater. I am a person that care and that love and that wants to see myself grow and be happy. Because if I'm happy, the people around me, I want to make sure that they're happy too. But some people need to be controlling. They need to be mean and happy. They need to have a mean streak in order to make you feel uncomfortable because they're controlling. They were raised up that way, and it's hard to change them. And no matter how much you love them, you got to let them fly away because they're making you miserable and unhappy, and they don't even realize it. You're telling them you're making me miserable and happy. Because why are you so mean? And now they're trying to show you, oh, I'm okay. No, I need you to have control of you, because when you're around me, I want you to have confidence in you, because you don't have to act like life is a bowl of roses all the time. But I'm just saying, if you're unhappy around me, you make me feel as though I didn't do my job to please you, and when I know I did. I know that I'm kind. My personality, I'm always focusing on how I can please the person in my life. And if they don't want me to be nice, then you shouldn't be in my life, because some people do not like anyone being nice. They don't know how to accept it. They think you're phony. But that's me. I want to have a tranquil, a peaceful environment. I know that noises are out there and we can't control it. But when someone inflicts it on you on a purposeful manner, with large groups participating in illegal hate practices, it's time for somebody to end it. And you don't know who's doing it. So now you're trapped into the hateful environment and the hate crimes, that you don't know who's committing these crimes. And you find out it's a police officer, and you find out it's a bunch of crazy, stupid people involved. And you're wondering, well, why, do we have a police officer involving themselves in hate crimes against Velma Bland, when they took a vow to protect and serve equally everyone? Now my Amendment 14 is violated because I'm not getting equal protection of the law, and I pay my taxes. So these are questions that one may ponder on. But how important it is for me to continue to worry about it when I know you're doing it, and you keep doing it, you keep doing it, and you're right in my face, and you're arrogant, and you're trying to act like I don't deserve to own property. I'm not a criminal. I was approved by the Broward County. I had my title attorney, and they approved me and my husband. So no one can take that away from me but me. And once I don't pay my mortgage, then the bank default, and then I foreclose, and then the bank closed me down, and now I have to leave. That's the only way you're gonna get me out of my home, because you can't take anything away from me that I work hard for. Because I didn't get it through drugs, I didn't get it through prostitution, I didn't get it from scanning and identity theft. I purchased this fair and square through my own identity, my own credit. I had to go through lawyers to make people hurry up and take me off that bad report, because I paid you, to make myself squeaky clean in order to get this condo, along with my husband, who passed on about 4 years ago, nearly 5 years ago. So, um, it's one of the reasons why it's very important for everyone to just read something on psychology, because it has to do with your mind, your thoughts, your process, how you register things, how do you see things. We just saw a car accident. The red car hit the driver, and made the driver faint, or maybe he's unconscious, but he's still alive. But you said that the driver cut in front of the red car, but the red car hit the driver and caused the accident, but you didn't see it the same way. So it's, how do we see life? Why do we see things differently? Why do we see things backwards? And there's a saying, ass backwards. Why do people see things ass backwards? Because Velma is involved. I don't know. Okay, the $64,000 question. What is consciousness? Now, he says a $64,000 question. What is consciousness? In 1904, William James wrote an intriguing article entitled, Does Consciousness Exist? Think about it. Does consciousness exist? Do you feel that you have consciousness? That you are conscious or aware of yourself, of the world around you? Would you bear witness to being conscious of or experiencing thoughts and feelings? I would bet that you would. And so, to be sure, would William James. But James did not think that consciousness was a proper area of study for psychologists. It smacked of religion and philosophy, not of science. Consciousness was not a thing to James. Rather, it was a mere echo, the faint rumor left behind by the disappearing concept of the soul. And that is in text citation is James 1904, page 477. As noted in chapter 1, John Watson, the father of modern behaviorism, insisted that only observable, measurable behavior was a proper province of psychology. Okay, John Watson, the father of modern behaviorism, insisted that only observable, where everybody's looking, measurable behavior, okay, is when we monitor and measure when you begin to act out Velma and yell and scream. That's when the police come to your house and accuse you of doing something you didn't do. Just as soon as you're about to get that doctorate degree. Now we got the police. The board of directors has said that you disconnected the telephone inside of your house that you own. And we need you to let this AT&T guy in so that he can hook it back up, because if you take it down again or you own that house, that condo, you're going to be fined a lot of money. Does that make sense? But if you don't do it, Velma, they're going to handcuff you. They're going to bank rack you and make you look crazy and steal your condo. And you're going to be out homeless. And your dog going to go get euthanized. And your whole life, because you want to be a doctor. Because you got a 3.7 or 3.80 average. All of a sudden, Velma is a crazy. She need to be handcuffed and bank racked. The boy, the one that stole all her furniture out of her house, and she's still trying to get them to get an insurance to put it back in her house, and threw it out the door so everybody could just have a feast of them. $10,000 on her loan. Got the police to not. Soon as they hear that she finished that doctorate program, all of a sudden, Velma need to be bankrupt. Yeah, she crazy. Yeah. As noted in chapter 1, John Watson, the father of modern behaviorism, he insisted that only observable, measurable behavior was a proper province of psychology. In psychology, as the behaviorist views it, I am a behaviorist. I watch behaviors all the time. I'm the one that should be diagnosing the people that's bothering me. You can't diagnose me. You're not a psychologist. You need to be diagnosed. You need to be Baker at, not me. Because you're still alive. Because I didn't touch you. I don't need to be Baker at. Because somebody is going to take care of it if you don't leave people alone. Because I've seen it, I've seen it over and time again. I've seen it happen. You need to leave people alone. Because these crazy people around here is going to make somebody get hurt. They are liars. They are playing games with the police department. They turning the police to gopher. They going to cause the police to get sued, and all kind of stuff going to happen around here. And they're going to, I've seen it happen. There's to bother my father a lot, and bother my brother a lot, and bother other people a lot. And that same police officer, somebody killed him. A crazy white guy over there in Davie killed him at that convenience store. It wasn't my father did it. No, it wasn't. My brother didn't do it. And the people in danger didn't do it. But he was over there messing with black people all the time, putting us in a lot of stress. And it went over there in Whitetown, over there in Davie on Sterling Road before you get to 441. And somebody put a bullet in his behind. And now we got to see you up on TV that you got shot. I don't care. Why should I care? Turn my channel. You want to baker rack me for that? Trying to come out of there look like this. All that medication you give me. So Carmen Parker don't want me no more now. Because when you put me in a bank right me, I'm gonna come out like this. All that medication you gave me tried to kill me. Carmen Parker ain't gonna want her no more. I bet you she won't come back here now.